sun is shining, there's a bit of a breeze. It's a perfect day for speech frisbee.
We have two European standouts here.
We are moments away from the opening pull now.
Deep breaths before the madness begins.
Greatest attempt! Oh my goodness, layout to keep it alive! My brains are melting out of my ears! What is going on out there?
Women's division champions!
Gold medal winners here on the beach. European Beach Ultimate Club champions.
Thank you and enjoy the show.
Good morning and welcome to the beach here in Gdańsk. The EBUCC European Beach Ultimate Club Championships ready to kick off. We will keep you on the field for the player introductions already underway and get back to you with the game opener as soon as these tidy up. And with that, the players will give their opening high fives, initiate the spirit, and we are about to get things underway. My name's Stefan Rapazzo. I'm alongside Gigi Morrison. Gigi, we've got Solaris taking on WAF. How's your morning going? What are you excited about?
Morning's going good. I had a beautiful coconut pudding for breakfast. I'm very excited for some, so far, sunny, a little bit toasty beach ultimate. We've got the first seed, Solaris, coming from out of Poland against the 12th seed of WAF coming out of the Netherlands. So I'm not too sure about much about these teams, but I'm very excited. I know that Solaris recently won Copenhagen, so another beach tournament in Europe. So going to see some high-quality beach ultimate this morning, Steph.
You bet we are. Very fitting, of course, to have the top Polish team taking on a Dutch team, the president of BULA, the co-president, Patrick van der Valk, a Dutchman himself, getting a Dutch team on to kick things off against, yes, this really strong Polish outfit, Solaris. They have been at the top, up and around, title contention, semi-finalists for years now. Is this their year on home soil? I mean, you know they think so. And we'll be keeping a keen eye on them. They've got the #1 seed, very deservingly so. Let's see how everything shakes out. And we're just about ready to kick this off. I love the start of a tournament. I love just, you know, the energy right now. Everybody's arriving at the pitches, breakfasts and coffees and warm-ups. It's all coming true right now, Gigi.
A flick pull to start, sits well into the back of the end zone.
Gotta love it. You gotta love a flick pull. Stupkiewicz gets the under. That one comes. And now Kozmalski. Kozmalski goes to the dump space. Stupkiewicz kicks out to the far sideline. Fires forward. Strong hands to collect. Rudy goes back to Stupkiewicz. And Rudy again. Very patient thus far. by the Poles on the doorstep, leads in and bobbled. Just turned that one upside down. Zions couldn't handle it.
Yeah, they're moving the disc really well down the pitch, trying to find the dump option as often as possible, really utilizing the entire width. But yeah, as you mentioned, very simple bubble has given WAF the break opportunity.
Let's see what the Dutch can do with their first chance. Peak initiates. And that was a quick possession. 2 throws later, and the Poles can take over. Stupkiewicz picks up. Rudy, back to Stupkiewicz. Finds Kozmalski, he drags a toe, and Solaris do manage a hold, albeit dirty.
Yeah, they might not be too best pleased with themselves getting a turnover first thing, but again, first game of the tournament, still very slick, very smooth, brilliant toes from Kozmalski to get their first point on the board. So you see Rudy centering around the back, finding that break side option, and yeah, the toes in. First point for Solaris.
First point is in. Now the tournament's really going. And Solaris with the lead. Let's see if the Dutch O-line can do a little bit better with their possession than their D-line transition had or was able to do. Dutch, low first throw and a drop, and unfortunately not. Cascate dropped it. It was a low, it was not a perfect throw. That one still sits up on a blade. And here comes the Poles, Gibki. Goes to the dump space, fired, Bogdanov. Svinchitsky, and back to Gibki. Break line breaks for the first break of the game, and that makes it 2-0. Dutch just have some jitters right now. They don't seem to be able to click once they get possession.
Yeah, it seemed like the first throw after the pull just seemed to sink a bit too far into the sand. Again, first game of the tournament, first point for the O-line for WAF. Hopefully they can iron out those kinks. But Solaris coming back to get their first break. I was going to say a great patience in the front end zone line to get that score, but initially not very many people were cutting. They seemed to want to initiate from one person, but then did eventually find in the front of the end zone Kudlinski.
Yes. So 2-0. Poland looking very good. Solaris right now. Taking a look at the sideline. Getting sun safe here. The forecast has not been exceptional, GG. Aren't we happy with what we're getting right now?
I am thrilled.
Yes.
I am relishing as much warmth and sun as I possibly can. Oh, that is a fantastic pull.
Yeah, they've pinned them there and made a difficult offense even harder, but here we go, nicking, and now we've sent one deep. I think that's in the stands. It is indeed.
Yeah, Broynes is a tall fellow, but maybe not quite tall enough to get to that one.
Yeah, keep it in the field and give him a chance.
Solaris setting up in a split stack, a sort of horizontal, trying to initiate from the center, having to bid and just flying outside of the pitch.
And they get one back. And this is what the Dutch need. They gotta be able to capitalize on these mistakes now after a slow start. Let's see what WAF get done here. Up the line, and that one goes straight out of bounds, straight back to Solaris here. Inside, outside, kicks it back to the sideline. Kazimierczak leads to the end zone, and in for a goal is Zibi Braniceki.
So far, quite a commanding performance from Solaris. Really applying some pressure on the D line to make sure that those throws are coming off quite difficult. I don't think WAF are doing each other favors by, throwing outside of the pitch, throwing on the far sideline, really making it difficult for the receivers, and Solaris just answering back and really stamping it down, making sure that they make their mark.
And they are making it, you're right, commanding indeed. They just can't put a foot wrong, and in the other sense, the Dutch are making it a little easier for them even. They're not able to put a foot right. Really haven't strung together much more than 3 passes. And so that combination is really looking landslide-esque for Solaris right now. It's early, day 1, game 1, hour 1. Lots can change, but goodness, Solaris looked good to start things off here. Dutch pick up the pull. Leading throw, that goes to Van de Klaskate. Now inside, Velt in the center. Leading throw, Kaiser. Kaiser thought about the wind up there, but he put it away. Kaiser does throw the floaty. Will he get a chance? No, 2 defenders there. Solaris bear down on it.
Yeah, Kaiser was looking around at multiple options, trying to find something to cling on to, but the defense really sweltering and smothering any possible option. Did have Klaskata in the end zone, but again, well defended.
As per usual, a beautiful showcase pitch here. Beautiful setup here in Gdańsk. I haven't had too much time to explore the town, but I'm looking forward to getting that. It does look lovely from what I've seen. And a short field turn by Solaris will give the Dutch the best chance they've had thus far, with about 7 meters away from, maybe less than the end zone. Peak with the disc. Goes to the dump. Kaiser back to Peak. She's probably, it's got to be Beck as a Dutchman. Spin, Klaskate, and towards the sideline, does get over top. There's a chance. They are on the doorstep. The Dutch Peak sniffing. Is there a chance? He throws too low. He put it at the shins, and the sniff of a chance is squandered.
A lot of touch on that throw, but yeah, as you mentioned, right at the shins, an ankle biter of a throw.
And these Dutch are tall. That's not where you want to put it. I can tell you that much without high-level analytics. That is for sure. Here come Solaris. EBUCC in the middle of the give-go action, and then the leading throw, that's going to work. Bogdanov, and clear separation in the end. Solaris are really capitalizing on every opportunity.
Yeah, they seem to find some other sort of channel, another wavelength with each other, having to run down that disc. Discord doing well, and then sitting it out perfectly for Bogdanov. It wouldn't be a bad idea for WAF to try and collect their thoughts, maybe reassess, particularly their throws. They're providing the right options, they're in the right spaces. It's just the execution errors themselves off of the disc is what is really costing them.
And so by that, it wouldn't be a bad idea. You wouldn't mind seeing a timeout right around now?
Possibly.
I think I agree with you completely. I do not like to wait for my timeouts. If trouble's a brewing, I would rather take the timeout, try and snuff it out early, and if I end up later in the game still in trouble, well, at least I tried. Or I tried to take care of business as early as I could recognize trouble was a brewing. And with a 4-0 lead, trouble's a brewing if you're on that nothing side. A lot of Solaris fans in the chat. Welcome to all of you. as the Dutch try their hand once more. Van de Woude. That one then to Nicken. And Van de Woude exchange. There is a nice open throw, and Bruins has room. He goes back. Van de Woude. Bruins. Nicken. There's really very little chance for any forward continuation. They go to hammer, and they're on the board.
First point of the game, clean hold, and beautifully done as well. It's almost they felt our energy radiating off of them, wanting to take that time out and reassess, but they didn't even need to. Facing up against a zone, trying to slow down the disc movement as much as possible, but WAF finding the gaps, really doing well to dump and swing around the back to then find people through the middle with a hammer to finish as well. What a start.
Who doesn't love a hammer?
People who can't throw hammers don't like hammers.
Okay, fine.
I'm saying they're wrong,
Yeah.
but that tends to be the people that don't like hammers.
Well, hey, learn. But I love a hammer. I do absolutely love a hammer. As a player, to be able to throw it, as a spectator, as a commentator, it is just, it's so undefendable. A good hammer exploits deep break side better than anything, and that was a perfect example of it. Pozdanishki kicked things off there. Another deep throw, looking for Kuzmalski. He does chuck the body, but does not end up with a handful of plastic.
I thought he was going to do a forward roll there, very much led with the shoulder.
Yeah, a commando would have seemed the likely outcome. But the outcome is Dutch ball. And we don't, there's the block back right on the doorstep. Zions. Spin around by Poznanishki, and in for a goal. Solaris. Add another one to the tally. That looks like it is Podgaini with the goal.
Yeah, clutch layout block, really preventing any sort of break opportunity from WAF. That would have been their second break chance of the game. Here's the initial big shot. Again, yeah, leading with the shoulder. Kozmalski really putting everything on the line to try and get them that score. But earning the turn. Fantastic bid, Zions, for Solaris. Pew!
Zions. Now, I'm testing my memory. I'm going to have to go check it, but I believe Zions is now playing EUCS series with Wall City. GG getting on top of that for me. But I do believe that that was the off-season transfer. And Wall City have started pretty good in the EUCS series. With they are second overall in the rankings, or third. Yeah, they're third. They're behind Moon as well, I believe. But a second place at Elite Invite. Any of you may have been watching that. And for all of you in the chat, big good morning and hello to you. Thanks for tuning in. Here's another goal for the Dutch. That one came in out of the hands of Bruins and into the hands of Kaiser. And now they're getting going just a bit here. 5-2. That was their cleanest possession yet.
Yeah, when the O-line for WAF gets going, they certainly know what they're doing. Having to get the trailing edge of the hand catch, scooping it out of the air. Kaiser celebrating that score for WAF. Definitely well deserved. A lot of defensive pressure into that too.
So, last 3 points have each been holds. So we've started to trade. And Gigi, have we got to the bottom of the Wall City transfer?
Confirmed.
Confirmed. So Zions is there. My memory has not eroded completely yet. But what I was saying, all you in the chats, make sure you hit that like button. Love seeing you in the chats. Derbs, good morning. And it seems like we got a whole bunch of Solaris fans in the chats. So if you're out there, WAF fans, let yourself be known. Zions. And the throw goes over top of the intended receiver, which I believe was aimed for Descour. And WAF with a break chance, their first break chance of the game. No, their second.
Third.
Third. All right, yes, you're right. WAF. Bit on the hip, but possession retained. Now with Clascate. He puts it deep and is going to test the 50-50. He won a step but cannot catch up. It goes out the back of the end zone. I don't mind that option.
I love the look. It was perfect. Had perfect separation. But yeah, just sat a little too far out, caught the edge of the wind. Can't actually tell which direction the wind is going in. It's quite difficult to tell. We've got multiple flags around us, but they're all pointing in different directions.
Yes, we got a little swirler going on in here.
The swirler is annoying to throw in.
Oh, yeah. Nobody likes a swirler for throwing. So, Solaris. Here are some Dutch fans in the chat. Welcome to the chat. Make sure you hit that like button. And you know, if I'm prompting you that, I'm going to tell you to go on and be a subscriber. If you haven't yet, to hit the bell. And we'll have more prompts for you all weekend long as Solaris navigate the swings and go back to center. Bounce to the sideline. Stupkevich goes straight back. And now Stupkevich in the middle with a bit of separation. Zaton, sorry. And bid to keep it alive. Great bid, Stupkevich. Stupkevich fires for goal. Hits Zions. And Solaris chalk another one up, 6-2.
Stupkevich and Zions finally able to make that connection after a slight miscom earlier on in the point, leading to the turnover, giving WAF that opportunity. But Solaris' offense seems to be heavily initiated around the handler, so like moving around the front of the disc, quite similar to a dominator offense you'd find on grass. But it does mean that they're not providing as many deep options. They do get a bit more stagnant, particularly as that WAF defense just really comes hammering down. So I think for me personally, I'd quite like to see a few more deep options. Especially hammers, please.
Hang it for Gigi, and maybe for your own good as well. And we're actually going to have to get to the bottom of what WAF means. Their jerseys have got some bear claws, perhaps, or is it a dog and some shredded...
They come out of Wageningen in the Netherlands. I'm not sure where that is.
Okay, WAF, Student Ultimate Frisbee Association. Okay, they look old for students.
You could be a student at any age.
I'm out here aging people. Casper Schmidt, he likes the WAF. Oh yeah, the Dutch are waking up in the chat now. Pinged it deep! Boom! The bid does launch, but it's still about a foot in front.
The deep options we always wanted. The tall stature of Bruins still unable to get to that. It was a fantastic chase down though, full effort.
Yeah, you like it, and you know, maybe the one thing, okay, are the Dutch that much taller than this Polish team? Maybe not that much taller, but a bit. And I guess if you're going to be playing the Huck game, I believe that you probably want to play the, you know, not quite floaty, but keep it in the air kind of Huck game rather than the put it in front and let your speedsters race to it.
Throw with touch, not with power.
Yeah, I think Solaris would win the speed matchups on most assignments here. But Gives and goes. Nice flow there. Kazimierczak does find an outlet and right back to Kazimierczak. Corner. Oh, and a miss. Opportunity was there, but could not get the hand to it.
Almost looked like there were two receivers available on that break side. Phenomenal option. But again, the wrong angle of release did sit it more as the IO channel, facing it the wrong way.
And toe drag there to keep it in. Van der Plas sends it. Bid for the goal. And if it ain't Dutch, it ain't much. They put one on Menno Nicken. And they are, you know, in striking distance here after a slow start 4-0 at 6-3. They got to get the break. They got to find a break here, but this is a nice change to start trading.
Oh, certainly, yeah. They found their groove. They found what is working for them. They found what they can apply pressure on against Solaris when they do turn over, trying to get the disc back. It's working well for them.
Yeah, if they could have found it at the start, they would have been right in it. We've got a question from XXX Spike Plays. Will the Flug Saudi and Wells games also be broadcast? I can't say by heart. I don't think I actually noticed them, but go check out live.ebucc.com. Is it, or is it a dot something else? It is a .eu, sorry. And you can go filter by field, go check out the arena field, and you can see all the upcoming games there and get yourself ready for the action. The M Power Arena. Filter by that on the field, and you'll be able to see everything we'll have streamed today. Low throw, butt caught, and led forward Stupkevich. Doorstep, ooh, and just totally flubbed it on a fake, popped it out of his own hands.
I've definitely done that more than a few times before. Ooh.
You don't want to admit
It
that,
humbles
Gigi.
you. Hey,
It is
you gotta
humbling.
you gotta
We've
own
all
up to your
done it.
mistakes.
And a yellow frisbee just flew across the field. That was something. And on the field, a turnover.
It's quite difficult to tell at this point, but the wind has picked up. It's definitely gotten blusterier and more difficult to throw in.
Dump space, Stupkevich gets one to Podgaini. He blasts it. Kozmalski takes a foul. It's accepted, and he will get to his feet and put the disc into play. Kozmalski floats one. Rudy just waits for it. Why not? Kozmalski back to Rudy. Rudy, Zaton, and Solaris have a nice end zone O for the goal. Let's have a look at these last two. Well, and we'll get to those in a bit. We'll have all the action coming up. I do believe we have reached a halftime here. So with that, we're going to take a short break, and we'll be back with more action right after these words. WAF with the disc. Working up to the midway mark. And sent back. Van de Plas leads over the head and between two defenders for the goal. WAF find their way in once again. I believe it's Nicken on the goal.
A very commanding way to start the second half. WAF with a clean hold. Kudlinski going for the bid, a second defender also in the space, and brilliant patience on the reception of the disc, knowing that their defender was flying through the space, but just knowing and waiting for it to sit into their chest. Perfect way to start the second half.
So the half times here are quite short. They are a 0-minute halftime. It's just a mirror switch, but continuation with the short games. Games to 13, so halftime at 7 or 45 minutes. And after 45 minutes, +1. And score cap established. So let's see how far we can push this when we're 28 minutes into it. Zions gets a nice catch with one hand extended, but the throw from Novak not as excellent as his catch.
Shevkiewicz thought that there might have been somebody behind him, and understandably that did just soar above his head.
So picked up by WAF. Ek. Goal line. Dump centered. And spinning around is Van Rey. And then blast it deep. The chase looks good. It does work indeed. Steven Van Rey. Sorry, the throw came from Tevelt. And the Dutch chalk another one up. 8-4.
First break for them. You can see what it means for them. They are getting really fired up. First break is a fantastic way to bring some energy back and close the scoreline in.
The scoreline should be 7-5, I believe. Nice to see more and more of you joining in the chats. As you join, make sure you hit that like button. As we kick things off, EBUCC 2025. Can't believe it's been 4 years since the last iteration in Royan. I can't believe it's been 2 years since the last iteration. That's why I couldn't believe it's been 4 years, because it's only been 2. Exactly what I meant. Good thing for Benji Reese in the background here to keep us on our toes. Zions gets from Stupkiewicz. And continuation for Podgaini. Stupkiewicz finds a seam, and that one is distributed. Rudy to Kozmalski for the goal.
Beautiful offense, really slick. They often had the dump person completely poached off, so having the wherewithal to recognize that and utilize it properly as well, trying to get across the entire width of the pitch, swinging through until you can get that break side option for their score, bringing it now to 8-5. feel like I probably should have done a bit more research into Gdańsk, seeing as there's a lot of shipping containers around. I might have to figure out what that's for so I can actually bring some information for a future podcast.
We'll get there as we go. We've just arrived. We're learning on the go. Nice chase there by Van Rey. And a foul on the ensuing cut has been accepted. Van Rey with a disc. Looks for an option, now engages dump only, and as they look away, the throw goes. Miscommunication, but there should never have been a look away there.
Yeah, that was the right option to take as a throw.
Now the big throw goes. It's going to go out of bounds. It will. Just, but uncatchable inbounds. And Peak sends, try to do it in one throw. Looks like he's got a chance unless there's an exceptional defensive play, which Novak provided.
Yeah, I was convinced that that was going to come down into the hands of the WAF player, but completely denied. Novak going full sprint through the sand. I always forget how much harder it is to run on sand than on grass until I actually get to the sand. Yeah. And I get humbled immediately.
Well, Gigi, we run a roaming camera here. All you viewers will probably see it. Gigi's going to have her first go at that at some stage today, so you'll really get to know what this sand's all about when you get your gimbal cam assignment.
Yeah, got to warm up my hip flexors.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I get a turn, too. We're going to take a short break here on the timeout. We'll be back with more action from EBUCC.
Here we go.
This year, London Invite is bigger than ever, with 8 teams in the Open Division, 8 teams in the Women's Division, and for the first time, a full 8-team Mixed Division.
With 5 World Games teams, USA, Canada, Australia, Germany, France.
As well as the Tokai Super Team, is sure to be the ultimate showcase of the best in the world.
More teams, more streams, more stars, more ultimate.
More excitement.
You're not going to want to miss London Invite 2025.
We live in a world where everything can be referenced online. Imagine if the greatest moments in our sport were never filmed. Eurodisc continues to do what it takes to make free-to-watch live streams a reality. Let's leave nothing to the imagination. We'll consume the action live, and we'll support those that helped to make it happen. If it wasn't streamed, it didn't happen. Eurodisc.
What a grab! Oh my God! Somehow they do it! I worked for a Michelin star chef making gelato in Paris. I had my own restaurant in Nicaragua and a food truck in Australia. Why wouldn't you watch me? Check out my YouTube channel.
Search for Hive Ultimate on YouTube to learn about our cutting-edge strategies and to see analysis of world-class teams. To find out what Hive can do for your team, head over to our Patreon page where you can gain access to our exclusive drills and session plans and to join our worldwide community of coaches. Get ahead of the curve with Hive Ultimate.
8-5 the score. Solaris up on WAF, and after a struggle to start, WAF have started to find their feet out here, Gigi.
Yeah, they've reined in some of their throws, made sure that it's above ankle height for some of them, which is fantastic. Solaris having to take a time out here to reset themselves.
And it looks like it's paying off because that was scintillating action, working their way into Cosmetic. And that was beautiful play by Solaris, right from their own goal line. Every pass to open looks beautiful stuff there.
The deep options that we were looking for the whole time, they gifted it to us. It's some phenomenal play, really good way to come out of a timeout. Getting themselves into power position. Beautiful throw, perfectly set up cut from Cosmetic. Bogdanov did have to go quite high to get the proper reception of the disc. But thankfully well caught.
That makes it 9-5. What a way to make a living. And Solaris set to pull. And they'll let that one hit the ground, which I don't love that option. Here come the Dutch. Van der Plas. Gets the gainer, bit on the hip, but Bruins collects and sends deep, and the deep shot misses, aiming for Van der Plas.
So in terms of fielding the pull there, would you have wanted them to catch?
Yeah, I mean, I almost coach to say anything short of a layout should be aggressively pursued. It's like pull reception is a two-player game. You should have one person like getting that disc, everything with it that they like as though they're chasing a huck, get that, and the person who is with them is adapting to the defense coming down, where your stack is, and being in between that pull reception and them, so that there's an easy outlet right away. And yeah, they definitely weren't able to do that. And you know, you let it hit the ground, those 2 seconds, they don't seem like much, but they're huge with 5 opponents chasing the other way. Solaris now in the middle of the field. Discord finds Shinchitsky. Shinchitsky goes to the middle. Kazimierczak. And this looks like they are going to walk their way in. They're looking very poised out there, and they do indeed find that way. Kazimierczak with the assist, and Solaris now doubling up 10-5.
I'm not sure what was discussed in the timeout that Solaris took a few points ago, but since then they seem to have opened up the field even more so than we saw from the first half of the game and even leading into the start of the second half. They're providing much better options. There's not just one but 2 options, and that secondary option can provide the continuation, but they're also being more cautious and calculated with their throws, and that seems to be really working out for them.
Yeah, you're absolutely right that the timeout was a turning point, a switch flipped for the polls. 3-1 in the last 4 points now. 2 of those breaks, 3 in a row since getting broken. So they've definitely said, okay, let's wake up. Would have been nice to be a fly in the huddle, so to speak, for that one and hear these words of wisdom, though we likely would have needed a translating fly. Low throw, low reception. Peek goes back to middle. Van Rey hits the sideline and eyes up fields still, and he gets Plascate. Sends deep. Van Rey runs under it, and the Dutch answer after 3 against to stem the bleeding.
We seem to have some Dutch fans in the stands. Some orange shirts, some Dutch flags flying around as well, cheering on WAF. And Van der Wey being found in the end zone again. They seem to look for him as a deep option, and it works really well. As long as they can provide the throw, he'll be there.
It's his second of the game. Pair that up with a block. He's having one out there for a team with 6 points on the board. And, you know, looking at the scoring now that I have, it is quite well distributed for both teams. Michael Rudy leads all scorers with 3 assists. And the distribution, there's more players with multi-stats on WAF, but they have a roster that is, I was going to say literally half, but it's not literally, but nearly half, maybe 2 players away from being doubled in size. So Solaris, I suspect, will stay fresh through this tournament a bit better than WAF might. Up line, Novak, Kozmalski and Podgaini exchange. Now Stupkevich, Kozmalski. Stupkevich. Podgaini, good weave, nearly dominator between those three, and now they let the others play, but it's Novak to Kozmalski, a little head spike off his Miami Heat headband, and that makes it 11-6.
That is textbook perfect offense from Solaris. Again, like I spoke earlier on about how they really utilize the width of the pitch. And as you mentioned, the dominator style offense, they're dumping and swinging the disc. So getting it towards the sideline, looking for maybe a second, and then immediately trying to get it back into the middle of the pitch. And it's opening everything out. It's providing so many options. And again, working so well.
So 42 and change. We're going to hit our 43rd minute by the time this pull goes up. Couple to go. 2 points away. Solaris, this game is definitely theirs for the taking right now. They see that finish line. A very strong second half for the home side. And the pull up and lands. Pick initiates. Nikin to Van Ray, little bump on the mark. Absorbed and playing on. Van Ray to Clascate, quick to pick. He sends deep. Beyond the bid, and the second bid collects. What a body throw there. I think it's Tvelt. And it is indeed. That was awesome. Just to keep the focus with the bid in front and then to make a bit of his own. Wow, I loved that.
That was wild. I very much enjoyed that, Steph. 2 bids in one. And one of them was successful.
Here it comes again. There's the defensive bid. There's the attacking bid. Industrious as the shipping containers in the back.
I do love the defensive bid from Kozmalski. Like, I think it was definitely the right option. Was honestly really quite close. It's difficult to be able to tell from the camera angle, but from our angle, we could see that it was fingertips away. And then Tvelt also going full extension, wrapping fingers around the disc. High octane ultimate.
Thank you, Milan, for cleaning up the spam in the chats. And yes, it seems like WAF highlight plays only when you get those ones. Solaris looking to move themselves to game point with another goal here. Zions goes into the dump space. Rudy again. Hands up in the end zone looking for it, but wisely takes the dump to put Gaini. No clear seams. Poznanishki. Back to Podgaini. Rudy hits the sideline and shot for goal. Collected nearly, but spat out by Zions. Went trailing edge on that and just flipped it right into the air.
It almost looked like it was scooped up into the fingertips and then trying to wrap the last few fingers around just flicked it out of their hands. As WAF now taking a timeout for themselves.
And they're going to make the most of their opportunity. We'll make the most of this break too. Bring you some messages and be back with more right after this replay. Here's another look.
Search for Hive Ultimate on YouTube to learn about our cutting edge strategies and to see analysis of world-class teams. To find out what Hive can do for your team, head over to our Patreon page where you can gain access to our exclusive drills and session plans and to join our worldwide community of coaches. Get ahead of the curve with Hive Ultimate.
Always on the move? You can keep up to date with ulti.TV on all of our social media channels. Like, follow, subscribe, share us with a friend, or send us a message just to say hey. Thank you for supporting us in our mission to grow Ultimate everywhere.
I'm Steph Pazzo, and I must eat.
Sometimes commentator, sometimes food eater.
On my Ultimate travels in 2023, I sampled culinary classics from all across Europe.
Oh, wow.
Guided by some of your favorite Ultimate players.
That's the Dutch hospitality for you right there.
I'll give you an insight into the secret spots that only the locals know of.
Are these the best schnitzels in Vienna?
Yes, of course.
Yes, of course.
You'll find Steph Pazzo at YouTube. Like and subscribe and follow the European Ultimate Must Eat series.
7-Eleven, good time for a Slurpee. Good time to find out what's good for eating. I've had myself some suggestions of the best gelato in Gdańsk already, and I cannot wait. I have exceptional gelato recommendations, and that's where you can find them. But here is where you find all the action from EBUCC. What's going on in Gdańsk on the beaches? Pig. Blasted deep with the forehand. Van Ray can't quite get there. Just about a meter in front of the bid.
It must be so tempting as the thrower to see a receiver like Van Ray going deep and being like, well, it's got to be done. Got to do it. Got to try it.
And it was done. It was put. But it was put just a bit too far in front. And Rudy will bring the disc back in for Solaris. Time has ticked over. Zaton goes to Rudy. Rudy fakes the end zone shot. Now Zaton. Popped. Rudy. Zaton, and no, he holds off. It looked open, but his mark was closing the lane, sagging off of it. Nice throw. Great pop pass by Rudy. Zions charges the corner, and that makes it game point, 12-7.
Again, commanding, really slick and smooth. Not easy, though. I would say the WAF defense was certainly applying a lot of pressure on this end zone. I'm really impressed with how they set up their forces, particularly as they know that Solaris are beginning to swing across the pitch. The force will almost overcommit and shut down that break side option that's been so lethal for Solaris so far. And WAF really slowing them down. Fantastic job.
Yep. They were definitely made to work for that one, and they did. The throw choice, I think, the best part of that work. The assisting throw choice is, yeah, very impressed with that high release, late stall count, off pivot. Really caught the defense off guard. WAF need to score, or it will be game over. Can they extend? Playing from the backfield, Nicken. Chips through. Nice bid, nice catch by Bruins. Van de Woude. All the way around, gets a catch at a Roos. Nicken. Van de Woude goes the offhand, backhand to continue. Now the inside forehand, Bruins! With a catch, and the Dutch extend the game.
Again, full commitment, full extension, full beans on the front end zone line to give them that score. They put every single gram of energy they possibly could into getting that. And Solaris' defense applying so much pressure, not making it easy. The score going in for the, that wasn't Discord, apologies, that was Bogdanov. coming in over the shoulder. Phenomenal body awareness to not bid through the receiver.
No, not enough body awareness. Make sure you have some chat awareness too. We have Milan monitoring right now, and we will all weekend long. Be good in those chats, and we'd be happy to hear what you have to say. Alternative, well, we will limit your saying. Floater and trails out, so brick option taken. That said, all of you who are playing nicely, make sure you hit that like button. This game's almost over. The tournament is kicked off. The action will be free-flowing through your screens from now till midday Sunday. And we know that you guys will be with us for all that action. We can't wait to keep bringing it to you. But here's a chance. Solaris, can they win it? Zions with the disc. Far sideline, gets it to the middle. Novak quickly bangs one to Podgaini. Podgaini heads up, waits for Stupkevich. Back and forth they go. Podgaini to Kozmalski, 2 hands above the head. Kozmalski, Podgaini takes with 2 hands, fakes, turns back to center. Still eyes only to center. I like the commitment. Novak, Zions takes the game. Bit on the hip, a little uncertain on that game-winning catch, but Zions does all that's necessary to get the goal and with it the game.
I'm not entirely sure how I feel about that. Definitely wanted to milk it into the front corner of the end zone. Quite dangerous. Obviously not putting himself into danger with anything other than misreading. But it did almost go out the side of the pitch. But fantastic reception. Again, Solaris just really showing how to get the disc moving. Yeah, there we go again, the trailing edge foot. And taking this game 13-8. What a way to start the tournament. Wasn't quite as straightforward as we initially thought it might be.
No, WAF definitely showed up, but Solaris do defend home pitch. They get the opening round win, and they will take that forward. Speaking of moving forward, all the action we have promised. Coming up next, Outsitters versus Terrible Monkeys in the mixed division. That's Slovakia versus the Czech Republic. And that's coming up in just more than 4 minutes' time. So for GG Morrison, I have been Stefan Rapazzo. Thanks for joining us. We'll catch you next time.
Thank you. Thanks.
Merci beaucoup.